So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my iPhone XS Max versus iPhone 11 Pro Max versus iPhone 12 Pro Max versus iPhone 13 Pro Max comparison video. Now, isn't it insane that it's only been about 3 years or so, and we already have had 4 iPhones that are like large, beautiful OLED display iPhones. But in this video, you can use this as whether you're trying to decide to upgrade or pick one of these up. You can kind of see the comparison between all of them. All right, so I'm just going to talk about the design and the build really quickly here. Well, the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the XS Max are super similar here. You have a glass back here, but you do have an etch glass. This is where it changes quite a bit. And Apple brings their first triple camera to iPhone with the iPhone 11 Pro Max over here. And now on the edges, they both have rounded corners and they both have some weight to them. This one is the lightest though at 208 grams. The iPhone XS Max is the lightest large iPhone you can get. Over here, 226 grams, so it did get a little bit more weight, and both are IP68 dust and water resistance. Now, they both also feel quite similar, so really what you're paying for here is the upgrade in the battery department, the camera department for the iPhone 11 Pro Max and that triple camera for sure. Phone 12 Pro Max and the 13 Pro Max giving you more of these squared bodies, kind of like making us feel like we have an iPhone 5 and a larger body right here. And then it gets heavier and weightier for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, going all the way up to 240 grams, up from 228 grams. So these two are similar to these two in that they're very close, and then these two are very close. But you can see all these phones are large. They all have very large displays, but we have 6.5 inch displays here. We have 6.7 inch displays. However, there's only one with a smaller notch. That's the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And then there's only one that has the ProMotion display. That's the 13 Pro Max over there. But you'll just see, like, if you look at them, the core experience between every single iPhone doesn't really change that much. I swear to you, if you're even using a XS Max right now, you're using probably about 70% of what the experience of a iPhone 13 Pro Max user is using. They're just getting more specification, but the actual size and what you can actually do and how it affects your life on the phone, the XS Max all the way up to this phone is quite similar. All right, guys, so let's talk about the displays on each of them. And as you can see, they're all a similar size. 6.7's over here, but still the 6.7 didn't feel like a major jump from the 6.5. It just felt like a little bit of a jump. Now, all of them do have Super Retina OLED displays, and they're all HDR10 supported. However, over here you have the XDR OLEDs. They're supposed to be a little bit brighter and a little bit more accurate, starting with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which had a high brightness point of 800 nits. 625 nits for the iPhone XS Max. Do have, 800 nits again, and then they went up on the nits again for the 13 Pro Max all the way to 1000 nits. So brightest phone ever. It feels like at least the usable brightness on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, what's cool about these, all have the same aspect ratio, 19:9. And what that means is the width of these phones are quite similar, no matter if you're using the XS Max or the iPhone 13 Pro Max. That means if you've had any of these, they all will feel like you can manage any of them. So if you were able to manage that, you can manage this. If you're able to manage this, you can manage that. If you're able to manage that, you can manage this, if that makes sense. You can manage all of these if you had one of them before. There's no real true upgrade in terms of the sharpness level between any of these phones. The only upgrade really is that ProMotion display and the reduced notch. So the 13 Pro Max actually has the biggest upgrades here of all of them, whereas you got a little bit of a brightness upgrade, and then you stay quite similar here for the 13 Pro Max, just a slightly bigger display at 6.7 inches. The displays across the board are all beautiful, and I don't think it matters which one you were using. They're all very good and very high end here, even in 2021. The iPhone 13 Pro Max just takes the cake with ProMotion. It feels a lot like the ProMotion MacBook. It feels a lot like the ProMotion iPad displays. Software between all of these, and they all do have the ability to run 15.1, and going forward, they all have that update, and that just makes it feel kind of boring, upgrade to upgrade, meaning that you don't really feel like you're getting something different. It's not like if you bought something like this from another competing manufacturer, and I'm not trying to push this phone on you. I know you love Apple devices. I'm just saying this is a Galaxy Z Fold 3 right here, it's a different experience. It's not like the same type of software feel. With these phones, you know, you're consistent. Every year you're getting the same type of, you know, phone with the same type of software, and Apple knows you love your software and they try to keep it pretty much how you're used to it, so you don't get like too, you know, it doesn't get too complex over here for you. But really what you're paying for every year is a hardware jump. More cameras, battery, that's hardware for the 11 Pro Max. You come here to the 12 Pro Max, again, you're going to the more industrial squared edges, better cameras once again, and of course, you're getting that bigger display. Again, more hardware. And what do we go to with the 13 Pro Max? We're going to more hardware once again. A weightier, thicker battery for a longer battery life, better cameras once again, and a better display. So with Apple, you're really paying the upgrades for the hardware, because with software, they keep their stuff updated for a long time. And there's just minor changes with the software, and that makes it pretty nice to keep your phone a long time. But for newer users, you got to really be thinking about, I'm buying this phone because I want that hardware, because that's really what you're doing if you're upgrading. That I didn't actually take many samples yet between all of these. I wanted to do that separately. If you want to see a camera comparison, let me know down below. But the XS Max did feature a dual 12 megapixel camera, 4K at 60 recording, and the results were quite good for the time. However, it didn't have a night mode on here. It didn't allow it to have great night photography, and on the front it had a 7 megapixel HD camera, could not do 60 FPS. So overall, the cameras were very good in the video. The rear cameras were strong, front camera was okay. And then the XS Max got updated to the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which was a massive camera update. Why was it so massive? Because it brought 4K 60 on the rear that matches the front 4K 60. And not only that, it got better. By the way, I've been recording this whole video on an iPhone as well, the iPhone 13 Pro, if you were wondering. You get 4K 60 on the front, and then you had the ultra wide setting, which allowed you to back the camera out. And one thing that's really nice about the 11 Pro, even all the way up to the 13 Pro, is that you can do 4K 60 on every lens, which allows you to get all of your content to match up if you want to shoot it in up to 4K 60. It's the same with the other modes as well. So that was a nice touch there. You get that wide angle camera, beautiful setup right there. I love the 11 Pro Max. It was a big update, and I still think it's a great phone to even hold on to right now if you want to wait till the next edition of iPhone. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro Max brought that same 0.5x, seemed a little bit wider, but it was allowed to go 12x on the zoom, so it brought you a little more zoom. We did have a night mode for the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Over here, we also got a night mode, and the front camera was quite good as well. However, the upgrades from the 11 Pro Max to the 12 Pro Max was not as felt, I think, as the XS Max to the 11 Pro Max. The bigger update was from the 12 Pro Max to the 13 Pro Max, which now has the cinematic video. And man, does it look smooth when you're looking at it. And it's 120 hertz display. You can blur the background on this guy. You can also do some amazing 4K 60 video on here as well, but we don't say anything like 8K or anything like that, but you could go a little bit further again on that zoom up to 3x optical. And now, if you go to photo, you can go up to 15x on the photo. In addition to that, it brings one of my favorite modes to iPhone today, and that is the macro mode. You can get very close. If you do this on any of these other iPhones, you will get a blurry background. Let's take a photo of the back of that Tesla Model X, and you'll see, look at that. I'm going to be able to get that close on objects for these older iPhones. Big lens, massive lens here for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. That is the camera differences between all of them. They're all good cameras. I would say starting at the 11 Pro Max, they started to become great cameras. And right now, they're just ridiculous. That's how I would say what I've experienced between all of them. All of them can do some amazing content, though, if you know how to use a camera very well. I gotta say, audio, doesn't matter which one you use. I don't want to play a ton of audio here and blast your ears out, but they all have no headphone jack. They all have pretty similar Bluetooth connectivity. At Bluetooth 5.0, Apple has not upgraded this to the 5.2 on any of these iPhones in 3 years, so that's an update they can do. Audio experience hasn't really been a deciding factor for me to do upgrades. And, you know, Apple claimed that the Face ID got better. I think it was the iPhone 11 Pro Max when we went to Face ID over here. The angles was improving. However, some people will say, I noticed it's better. I don't know if that's just in your head because I can't really see it, guys. Like, every time I use one of these, it feels like the same darn experience. And one thing that really did get upgraded here for this phones are the connectivity. This was the worst These actually, both of these, the iPhone XS Max and the iPhone 11 Pro Max were the worst at this with the phone call quality issues. It was mostly not really the phone call quality, it was mostly the reception. Like, they had Intel modems, so you would not have great bars or signal strength on these everywhere you went. And then the 12 Pro Max brings 5G. It brings Qualcomm back. Yeah, it got way better. It felt more like an Android Samsung phone when it comes to signal strength, and same with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So if you use that phone dialer quite a bit, or you're really counting on that mobile reception more than anything else, I would consider going over to the 12 Pro Max and above. And probably one of the most, sought after topics in smartphones today is the battery life. How is the battery life? 98% here. I was a little bit lower there. Kept these at 100 by not overcharging them, overusing them, but I used the crap out of the 11 Pro Max. You'll see over here, all these phones really did very good in this department, but the one that really shined for me, there's two of them that really shined. It was the 11 Pro Max. This phone really just did amazing in the overall battery life for me. And there was a major update over the iPhone XS Max. And then this one was pretty good as well, the 12 Pro Max. It kind of reminded me a bit of the 11 Pro Max, but didn't blow me away. And now we're back to blowing me away once again with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So these are the two to get right here if you care a lot about battery. It's the 11 Pro Max and the 13 Pro Max. And in conclusion, if you want to get these in different colors, like if you want that specific gold, you got to go with the iPhone XS Max. If you want that midnight green, it's only available for the iPhone 11 Pro Max if you were into that green color. And then we had the Pacific Blue for the iPhone 12 Pro Max, specifically use the silver edition. And then, of course, I'm actually recording with the all-new Sierra Blue color on the smaller 13 Pro. This is the 13 Pro Max you're seeing in the video, however. So if you want a specific color, you got to go with a specific model. But in conclusion, all of the Maxes lined up here in front of you, I've experienced all of them. So has it been such an upgrade? Which one to get? I mean, if you want to save the most money, go with the XS Max, find it secondhand and use it for a year or two. It still has updates. If you're looking for a value and you think 12 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max are too high, the 11 Pro Max is a steal. This phone still has a great amount of software support left, A13 Bionic chipset. It does have 4 gigabytes of RAM. It does have good performance. It does have good battery life. An amazing phone right there. 12 Pro Max if you want 5G, if you want, that industrial design, but you don't want to pay for the new one. If you could find this on a steal, some friend or somebody's giving it away for a cheap price, go for it. It's a great device. A lot of people are still holding on to this one. They're not just going to go jump just because a new iPhone came out. This is still an amazing device. And then if you want to go all out, right now it's the 13 Pro Max. But again, next year, this is going to be the phone where I'm like, this one is last year's value. Every year it's going to be a new thing. So you might as well get the one you really like the most and just stick it out for quite some time. Overall, I would say the upgrades have mostly been felt in the hardware department. Every year it just feels like they're just evolving it just a little bit better, just a little bit better, just a little bit better. And overall, they're just super mature and super refined iPhones today. Your thoughts on this one? Which one would you pick up? Did you do the upgrade every year? Let us know down below. Or did you upgrade from like 11 Pro Max to 13 Pro Max? Let us know down below in the comment section of this video. If you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.